Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, everybody.
Hare Krishna.
Hurry, hurry.
How are you all doing?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Nice, Prabhu. Did you had a chance to take a look at the chapter?
Yeah, a little bit. Chapter 5, right?
Nice. What?
Chapter 5.
Yeah. Would you like to share some impressions?
I feel like I'm just a beginner, so I'd rather listen today.
I feel this too. I'm the beginner, Prabhu. Every day I think about this, that I'm just a beginner. And it's wonderful because Krishna conscious has so much to offer that when I speak with other devotees, I have the same impression that everyone says the same. Like I'm a beginner because it's so vast. There is so much to learn, right?
Yeah.
Does someone would like to share some impression about the last chapter that we read, the fourth chapter or the fifth chapter?
It's been a long time since I read chapter 5 in the Bhagavad-gita, so I don't have much to say yet.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Are you at home already?
Yes, finally.
So nice. So nice. Have you been at Sadhusanga too, Prabhu?
Yes, I did.
I imagine. I thought that you come to the BI right after.
That would have been nice, but that was a bit much. And I'd been there for, I don't know, 5 weeks and I was ready to come home.
It's been quite a marathon, right? Rath Yatra and the temple opening and Sadhusanga.
They postponed Rath Yatra
Oh,
because the weather was going to be so bad. But they had the temple opening, and then the next weekend they had everyone come from Sadhu Sangha. So temple opening, 700 people. Next weekend, 800 people.
wow.
Yeah, it was crowded. It was crazy. It's ecstatic.
Yeah, we're not really accustomed to that here.
Yeah.
I bet. It's a lot of people, right? All the videos that I saw, all the pictures was packed.
Yes, it was packed.
So nice. Well, let's start our meeting. We've discussed the chapter 4 last week, and tonight we'll see the fifth chapter. Let me start to share the screen here. It's chapter 5. It's short, so I would suggest us to read everything and like in the same way that we are doing, like read a little bit and then um, pause for comments and share impressions, maybe any doubts. What do you all think?
Sure, why not?
Any volunteer to read?
I'll read if you want.
Yeah, please.
All right. I have a little bit of a cold. You'll have to excuse me. I'm almost over it.
Oh, Prabhu.
A little present from a couple of things. Anyway, Arjuna said, Krishna, you praise renunciation of action and then again yoga. Tell me definitely which of the two is better. The Lord said, both renunciation of action and action yoga confer the highest good. But of the two, action yoga is superior to renouncing action. One who neither hates nor hankers is to be known as a constant renouncer beyond duality, easily freed from bondage, O great armed. The childish, not the wise, claim that analysts and practice are distinct. A person who properly performs, but a person who properly performs, but one attains the fruit of both. That sounds weird.
Um,
It doesn't
this
sound right.
this phrase or what
Yeah, that
specifically?
phrase where it says a person who properly performs, but one who attains the fruit of both. It's a little translation, so I don't know. Just anyway, we can discuss it in a minute.
I I think that this is referring to the comparison, right? Because on the paragraph before, it's a comparison between action yoga and the renunciation. So it says a person who properly performs action yoga or renunciation. What do you think?
Yeah, a little comma there would help. A person who properly performs but one attains the fruit of both. And in Prabhupada's translation, it said, those who are actually learned say that he who applies himself well to one of these paths achieves the results of both.
Uh, there we go. That's where it comes out. A person who properly performs, but one attains the fruit of both. Person,
Yeah, I was about to share here, but Bennu was faster. Thank you, Bennu.
all right. So the status achieved by analytic methods is also attained by yoga practices. One who sees that analysts and practice are one truly sees. Yet renunciation is difficult to achieve without yoga, O great armed one. Linked in yoga, a sage soon achieves the absolute. Linked in yoga, a purified self who conquers self and senses. A self, being the self of all beings, is not tainted through acting.
Sorry, I clicked it here and disturb your reading.
It's okay. How far do you want me to go?
I don't know, I think we can pause here to discuss. What do you think?
Sure. It's all a little confusing because it's literal. And that's where it gets
Mhm.
interesting.
Yeah, we can, let's see.
So it says, yet renunciation is difficult to achieve without yoga. O great armed, linked in yoga, a sage soon achieves the absolute. Linked in yoga, linked in yoga, a purified self who conquers self and senses, a self, being the self of all beings, is not attained through acting. Purify self and conquer self.
Let's see the definition of yoga here. So Arjuna takes yoga to be spiritual action, incompatible with giving up action. This is, and there is this too, being the self of all beings indicates the attainment of full spiritual empathy. So for me here, Krishna is instructing Arjuna about the differences between both, right? And Arjuna is asking in the middle of the battlefield, what I'm doing here? This is the best. This is not the best. Please instruct me. And Krishna is trying to share with him how this world works, right? Because on the third chapter, we saw the cosmic system that is karma. And here he's telling that the fact of, wait, let me rephrase this. Krishna is trying to, Krishna Kala? What? Sorry.
He's there twice.
Yeah.
He's expanded.
Yeah.
I thought that only
Sorry,
while
guys.
I was seeing this, I didn't understand anything.
I'm on my laptop, but there was a browser error and it said close the window and rejoin the meeting because all I was seeing on my screen was blank white. Couldn't see the book, couldn't see any of your faces. So I closed and now I'm here twice. Am I echoing?
No.
No.
Oh, okay.
No, one of you
Would you
is
like
muted,
to
so
rename to Shiva Kala, maybe? No? Joking.
Well, I won't do it again. We'll just leave it as is.
No, it's okay. I think that we all stay a little bit lost with what is happening on Zoom. It's okay. So back into the point. Krishna was here trying to instruct Arjuna why it was necessary to fight, because he didn't want to fight, right? So he's saying about the importance of action. And again, highlighting that non-action won't save him from his karma. And plus, besides this, teaching us the real meaning of yoga, the union, which is not something separate like people like to sell nowadays. This is my impressions from these paragraphs. Does someone would like to share any impression and doubts?
Yeah, I think I just went to Prabhupada's translation in text 7. When Acharyadev's mentioning self and self and self, like you just touched on, Prema, that one who works in devotion, who's a pure soul, although always working, such a man is never entangled. Right. So we're yogaed with Krishna while we're doing our work, as long as it's in devotion.
Mm-hmm. I would suggest for us to say the Prabhupada's translation of the verse so we can do a quick comparison from the verse 1 to 6. What do you think? Maybe this helps us to understand even more. Someone would like to read?
Yeah, I can read. Text 1, Arjuna said, "O Krishna, first of all, you asked me to renounce work, and then again you recommend work with devotion. Now will you kindly tell me definitely which of the two is more beneficial?" The personality of Godhead replied, "The renunciation of work and work in devotion are both good for liberation, but of the two, work in devotional service is better than renunciation of work. One who neither hates nor desires the fruits of his activities is known to be always renounced. Such a person, free from all dualities, easily overcomes material bondage and is completely liberated, O mighty armed Arjuna. Only the ignorant speak of devotional service, Karma Yoga, as being different from the analytical study of the material world, Sankhya. Those who are actually learned say that he who applies himself well to one of these paths achieves the results of both. One who knows that the position reached by means of analytical study can also be attained by devotional service, and one who therefore sees analytical study and devotional service to be on the same level sees things as they are. I can't see 6.
I'm sorry. For me, it's appearing. I thought that was visible for all of you. I'm sorry.
No. Merely renouncing all activities yet not engaging in the devotional service of the Lord cannot make one happy. But a thoughtful person engaged in devotional service can achieve the supreme without delay.
Mm.
And I think we went to 7. One who works in
No, we
devotion.
stopped on the. I'm sorry.
I
Go
think we
ahead.
went to 7 on Acharya's book, Acharya's book. One who works in devotion, who is a pure soul, and who controls his mind and senses, is dear to everyone, and everyone is dear to him. Though always working, such a man is never entangled.
I
Any
actually
thought?
really appreciate the literal translation that Acharya Dave gave. I think it was for text 6, where he translated it as what was it? There it is. Um, just how renunciation is difficult to achieve without yoga, and just without knowing exactly what Krishna meant by yoga here. Just in reference to karma yoga, jnana yoga, or
Mm.
bhakti yoga, those are all like it's referring specifically to connection with the Supreme, connection with Krishna. And it almost feels like our nature is to be attached deeply to something. And when we're attached to Krishna, then everything else is just automatically renounced. Like there's no more question of any kind of material desires or anything like that because Krishna is your attachment and he's separate from those things. And so, but without that attachment to Krishna, without yoga, it's impossible to let go of all this stuff. Like who could do it? It's just inhumanly difficult. Like you could sit alone in the forest, you're still gonna want halava or a movie or something. Like there's gonna be some disturbance, unless you're actually satisfied in the self. So
Thank you,
yeah, I
Banu.
like that literal translation he gave. It's really succinct.
Yeah, I do appreciate it too. And I think that this that you share is very important. Like, uh, if you're not attached to Krishna, there is no way to fulfill your desires because any material desire will be not even half of what Krishna has to offer, right?
Yeah, it's like it's grasping at straws. It's like I don't know, the first thing that pops into my head is if you're on like a really high patio, like 100-floor patio, and the floor just falls out, and you and all the furniture are all falling now. And as you're falling, you try and grab hold of this table, but it's falling with you, and so there's nothing to hold on to in that whole thing. It's all going down. Um, yeah, Krishna's the only thing that you can really grasp for and find find a hold of.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. This that you share remind me a conversation that I have with a friend this week. We were talking about cancer, and I said to her that when you are facing the doubt of have such a brutal disease, you discover that, well, it's you and Krishna. Doctors can help, a treatment may help, but there is no guarantee. There is really no guarantee. So many people stress about the possibility of having cancer or not being able to afford health insurance, or even for those who have health insurance, uh, like there is no guarantee. You can have all the money in the world, the best health practitioners, may they won't save you. So when you face the possibility of such a nasty disease, you really discovers maybe you have this realization that okay, I may not have the army, but I have Krishna. And this changes everything. This shifts everything. Because in the middle of the war, Arjuna didn't choose the army. He's chosen Krishna. And this shifts everything. So when we see these situations in life that we are trapped and we really don't know what to do, if we try to back to Krishna, if we try to go into his direction, like like sunflowers goes in the direction of the sun, maybe we'll be lighter. Maybe we'll be lighter. For me, it was lighter, at least. And this is what I was sharing with her. And then she said, well, you were right. I'm stressing for a possibility. I said, yeah, all the energy that you're putting in your mind, overthinking about this, won't guarantee anything, anything. Because people tend to overthink about situations, right? Trying to have possibilities of choice, or what can I do if this happen or that happen? But the fact is that overthinking or not, we are not in the control. And this is what some people share when they face terrible disease like cancer.
Yeah, I mean, it seems even more than a possibility, like it's a guarantee. Like at one way or another, we're going to be brought into this horrible situation where, the rug just gets completely pulled out from under us, and there's nothing else to grab onto. And it's going to be horrible for everyone in their own unique ways, but there's no one really dies with dignity. It's suffering. Um, and hopefully I can think of Krishna.
Death isn't always suffering, or the lead up to it is not. I mean, there are people get diseases. It's a fact. My wife had cancer. When she passed, she didn't suffer throughout the
Really.
whole time. I mean, you can suffer mentally. It depends on your attachment. Your body starts to wilt and decay and fall apart. There's the mental side and the physical side. The physical side, of course, if you have some pain or discomfort, then that's there. There's also the fact that you're being kicked out of your body, and there's nothing you can do about it. And your body's going. I mean, even as me, I get old. It's like the funny things that you see your body deteriorating rapidly around you, and it's really kind of interesting. I just goofy thing riding down the road the other day. I had my hand out the window like this, and also my arms just flapping. Never, just getting old. So, it's these things are there. So I can't say you'll always suffer. My wife didn't. So but there are a lot of people that do. And even mentally, she was able to deal with it because she knew that whatever the reason she got the disease was her own doing. She had come to conclusion with that. She knew she was leaving. So everyone goes differently. Depends on how much karma you got to burn off, where you're at. Krishna can make so many different arrangements. I mean, I almost left and it would have been in a blink and I wouldn't have known it. There was no suffering. I thought I was doing fine. And one morning, my chest is hurting. I got lucky. I'm still here. But not everyone gets that. So, but we will all get it. At one point, we are all leaving this body. And that's the thing that we got to keep in mind. Can't get comfortable and complacent. Because one day everything's fine, everything's good, and the next day you're like, oh man. So, this is why Krishna he talks about this action and inaction. And so, what is action? What is inaction? Action is when we try to be the doer. That's when we're creating action or karma. When you surrender to Krishna, then that's how you don't action with inaction. You have to act. So even someone has a disease, you can't just say, oh, well, I have this disease. Let me not think about it and ignore it. And, Krishna will take care of it. Well, then you've just made Krishna your servant. You're not using the brain that he gave you. What he's saying is you can't be attached to the result. He's saying, yes, you got to think about it. You have to use your brain. You have to do the best you can. But even your best, whatever the result is the result. And that's what you have to be careful of. That if you don't become attached to the result, you do your best and let Krishna take care of the rest. And at that point, there's nothing else you can do. So that's surrender. When you say you've done everything you can do, and then you leave it to Krishna.
Wow. Thank you so much for sharing, Mangalarati. Yeah. This makes me wonder about how many times Krishna gave me opportunity of try to have some realizations, and how many times it seems like we're totally blind. And I know that this is not only me, but everyone has this sort of realization sooner or later, right? Oh, Krishna gave me so many opportunities, and I jeopardized this relationship, this situation, this job, this devotional service, and now there is other people doing the seva, or this person is not here anymore to try to repair this relationship, or I don't have this job anymore. Actually, I should have act different. We can apply this to many situations in life.
Want to say something, Louis? And do you have a spiritual name? I see you got neck beats. I'm just curious.
Yeah, my spiritual name is Krishnananda. Yeah, I was Hare Krishna. And I was just thinking, I really appreciate the dialogue so far. I was thinking of Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada during all this, and I was thinking his example of passing and his example of living, him being in New York in 1966. I was listening to a recording of him back then. His message he was preaching on the order, on the duty. He said, it's my duty of my spiritual master, my duty to my spiritual master to be here in New York. I'd rather be in Vrindavan. And his example of something I can rely on as a pure devotee of Krishna. And I keep coming back to Srila Prabhupada all the time. It's just, he's another example. His life is pure. That's my interpretation. And I hold that dear. I hold him as dear to my heart as Krishna. I just want that.
Yeah, there's one little soundbite I have in my head from Srila Prabhupada often, and there's a recording of him. You probably heard it where he's just saying to Krishna, "Please pick me up." Like somehow I've fallen in here, and but the way he says, "Please pick me up," like we view him obviously as he was such a strong devotee, and he was so pure and he was so dedicated and all this, but in that little soundbite, sometimes I can imagine in his voice how helpless he felt without Krishna. And just there's so much emotion in the way he says it, and almost like he could have cried then, just like please pick me up, like a child would ask for his parent, like somehow I'm stuck here, please just help me. And so he's really strong, but at the same time he was nothing without Krishna, which I guess that's where his strength actually laid.
Yes, this makes me think about when Prabhupada was in New York, I guess, and he said, well, Krishna, if you bring me here, show me the way, right? Like, if you want me to dance, make me dance. I don't remember all the verses, but it's like this. When you're facing a challenge situation, that's what we should do. Like, okay, Krishna, somehow I'm here. What I should do now?
Back to the point of suffering, I think the more attached we are, the more we will end up suffering. If unless we are blessed to have something happen quick and we have no idea. But if we're on our deathbed and it's drawn out, and the more attached we are to everything that is material in our lives, the more we're going to suffer. And when Prabhupada was leaving his body, he was very attached to the last minute of finishing his job in delivering for all of us Krishna consciousness in the West. He was attached to his service right up to his final breath, right lying in his bed in Vrindavan. And that's the attachment we want, the devotional attachment, not the material attachment.
Well, actually, not only when he was left in his body, but every day, every day. Devotees used to share that Prabhupada slept like 4 hours only to try to do all the work that he was planning to do to serve his spiritual master. And we know that it's kind of humanly impossible to sleep 4 hours per night, every night, right? This has a price, sure. But Prabhupada wasn't a common person, right? He
No,
was
he wasn't.
empowered. He was a representation of the perfect spiritual master, right? He
I was
embodied
just trying
all
to
the.
tie it. Sorry, you're done. I
Thank
was
you.
just trying to tie it back to the conversation about when we're dying. That was my point. Yeah.
Just to conclude, he embodied all the qualities. So, and that's why he was able to inspire so many people all around the world. Because he embodied all the qualities, he did not have pride at all, no vanity, and tried to work with everyone like a team because he wants to please Krishna. He didn't want to be famous, but he wants to make Krishna famous, right? So this is very, very inspiring for me. Thank you, Kala. Would like to wrap around or
No.
does someone has any other point about this? About all these important points?
Just something that Krishna Kalija said. I was corresponding with Acharya Dave not too long ago, actually, and one of the things he replied to me was that our degree of suffering in this world, it corresponds exactly to the level of our material attachment. Like it's a one for one thing. And so the more we're suffering, yeah, the deeper our attachment to this material world actually goes. Which
Yeah, makes
is how I
sense.
learned how deeply attached I am to the material world.
I wanted to say that's why I come to this meeting, or I come to the meetings at for Krishna West, just for the association, to get the different points of view, the different perspectives, and to open up my mind to new ideas and new ways of thinking things through. I so so privileged to have this opportunity. Thank you. To be with devotees.
Thanks so much, Prabhu. It's an opportunity to try to facilitate this meeting some way, somehow. I feel really blessed for the cessation of all of you and really inspired seeing you all consistently every Sunday connected. So let's back to the reading here. Who would like to read this time?
Where were we? I do nothing at all.
Yeah.
I do nothing at all. Thus, a linked truth knower should think. While seeing, hearing, touching, smelling, eating, going, dreaming, breathing, chatting, letting go, grasping, even opening and closing the eyes, one should hold this conviction. The senses move in sense objects. Giving up attachment and trusting actions to the absolute, one is not tainted by sin, like a lotus leaf untouched by water. With his body, mind, reason, and even pure senses, yogis perform action for self-purification, giving up attachment. Linked in yoga, giving up action's fruit, one achieves enduring peace. Unlinked, clinging to the fruit, one is bound by selfish action. Mentally renouncing all actions, a self-ruling embodied soul stays happily in the nine-gated city, neither acting nor causing to act. I think that's nice right there. A self-ruling embodied soul stays happily in the nine-gated city. Should I continue or?
You can if you want to. I don't know if
Mm.
someone has said something to share. Otherwise, we can continue.
The Lord creates neither agency nor actions for persons, nor their tied actions fruit. One's own nature prevails. The Almighty does not assume anyone's sin or good deed. Ignorance covers knowledge, it bewilders people. But for those whose ignorance of self is destroyed by knowledge, sun-like knowledge reveals the supreme. Those whose reason, self, devotion, and refuge rest in Him, they go to non-return, their impurity shaken off by knowledge. Does anyone have anything to say to that? That seems.
I like that how he put it. They go to non-return. We go to Goloka Vrindavan, we go to Krishna, the spiritual world, and we don't return. And our impurities shaken off by the knowledge we gain through cultivating Krishna consciousness. And if we become pure, we can not non-return. That would be so nice.
I appreciate how all the phrasing here, Krishna is using it really cements the fact that that ignorance is the imposition on our natural state. Like all the language here suggests that the soul essentially is Satchidananda, like, and all these other, they're just coverings on top of the spirit soul that's already there. Just need to be shaken off.
Yeah, I like to read that ignorance covers knowledge because when you're not acting the most intelligent way, we're being conquered by the modes of material nature, right? So this is what makes us lost also. When our mind is not able to connect the dots.
Yeah, and in a previous paragraph, Krishna says, linked in yoga, giving up action's fruit. That's how we achieve an enduring peace, that happiness in the city. But when we're unlinked, we just naturally we cling to the fruit if we're not connected with Krishna. Just like from uh what was it, verse 3 or 4 or something like that. I thought like it's just our inclination is just to grab hold of something, and if we're not connected with Krishna, we'll just grab these rotten fruits.
Yeah, true. I think was the fourth. One who sees that analysis and practice are one truly sees. Was this part?
It was somewhere in the previous paragraphs. Yeah, I don't remember quite where.
Hmm.
I
Where renunciation is difficult to achieve without yoga. That's the first half of this sentence, and he kind of brings up his second point here in verse 11 and 12.
The wise see as equal a learned humble brahmana, a cow, an elephant, and even a dog and dog cooker. In this very world, those whose minds stand in equality conquer creation. Brahman is truly equal and flawless. Therefore, they stand in Brahma. I really like this because when Prabhupada talks about the divisions of faith and teaches the three categories, Kanista Dikari, Madhyama Dikari, Uttama Dikari, we can clearly see this when people see Krishna only and the deity only on the altar, but cannot respect those who are around one, or even the distinction between those that are in Krishna consciousness or not, right? So this is a friendly reminder of, okay, there's different living entities, and it's not because it's a human or an animal or someone that I like or dislike that I shouldn't respect this person, which is quite challenge nowadays in a so polarized world, but even though we should try.
Yeah, it's very hard I'm only speaking for myself, not speaking for you guys, but to go through your day and you're walking the street, you're going somewhere, there's a lot of people, there's lots of things. It's you have to, I find I have to really focus and try to put my mind on seeing people as Prabhupada translated with equal vision, right? Like to see Krishna in everyone. And I just, sometimes I get caught up in the world, and it's just like you stop thinking about that. And um, it's what we have to do to see everyone. And today I'm actually wearing my Equal Vision shirt, verse 18, 518. But it's, yeah, it's something that I have to mentally think about because I don't think of it nonstop 24/7. Something I have to like prep my mind for and think. I wish I could think that constantly. I think that's the goal, but
You will. It's a process. Trust in the process. As time goes on, it gets easier. You start seeing, just everyone's a living entity. I mean, the trees even, you start having respect for every living thing. I mean, I tell people the greatest knowledge that I think I ever got was to understand the difference of what a soul is and what matter is, or what a living entity as an individual is and matter. When you see that everything that's alive is an individual soul, servant of Krishna ultimately, but we've been fortunate. We have this knowledge, that in this verse is talking about. that opened our eyes, you know. He filled my darkened anyway. I think, you know, Sri Guru Char. But anyway, I love that verse, that whole song. And then, you know, because they're covered over, they're all stuck in this whole action. You know, they're all these things are happening, and they think they're the actor. They think they're creating the action. And then when they don't get the result they want, that's when everyone gets frustrated. That's where anger comes from. That's where despair comes from. You know, all these things that make us, I mean, to stay equal poised means that you know what's happening. And so it says, don't become attached to or repulsed by. Both sides are the same side of different sides of the same coin. So, you know, there's so many bad things happening in this world, and if we start worrying about those as much as we worry about the joys of the world, it's all the same thing. Saying woe is me or woe is this or woe is that is the same as celebrating all the time. You know, if you just stay equal, it's much easier. No highs, no lows, just chilling. So, you know, but this just, it all comes from knowledge. And, you know, we've been very fortunate to sit here and read this knowledge as we speak. I remember I almost cried. I was sitting in the temple room in New Taliban. And like, I can't remember Lewis's name, but, you know, he's sitting in the presence of sages. I mean, sitting inside this temple with these amazing people who've given up their life to, you know, try and surrender. And I say try because that's all we're all trying to do. And I get their association, be able to sit there with them. You know, I just think back, the Bhagavatam is full of these enclaves where these sages came together, you know, King Parikshit, all these different yagas where people come together and do these things. And we're doing it virtually through, you know, new technology, but that's what this is come together, Krishna Katha, Shravan Kirtan, right?
Yeah, that's the process. And
Yeah.
that's why the chapter 12 emphasizes devotional service, because it's a process, as you said, Prabhu. And when you engage your senses in devotional service, the process happen. But the day that you plant the seed is not the same day that you eat the fruit. So it's gradual. We need to trust and try to be patient that it's a path, right? You have many lives, and that's it. Just keep going.
I do appreciate how the Shastra, it provides like a sense of continuity to something that otherwise seems disjointed. Like it's, you know, it's that inconceivable oneness and difference. Like on the one hand, we are, you know, we're separately embodied. We're having our material experiences right now, but we do have an eternal relationship with Krishna. And it's just the circumstance I'm in now. It's like a couple weeks ago, maybe in chapter 2 or 3. I think it was the first Sunday I came to these meetings. There was this one verse that I really liked, and Acharya Dave was saying that the universe holds up a mirror to each individual soul, and that's it's just a reflection of how that soul has been approaching the Supreme or has been interacting with Krishna. And I think something Krishna Kala was saying earlier made me think about Srila Prabhupada and like look at the mirror that was held up to that soul. You know, like he came over to America all by himself. There's nothing going on here at all. And within a couple years, like the spiritual world just erupted around him, you know? Um, so like we are here in the material world, but that relationship with Krishna already exists. You know, it's just we're just, you know, I need to look up that verse again, how the universe holds up a mirror to each soul, because that was a really nice one. Um, yeah, really fortunate to have the association of the devotees. It's really nice.
Thank you, Prabhu. Yeah. Uh, I'm trying to think about this verse also. I don't have it in my mind right now, but if someone search and find, please share here with us in the group or after the WhatsApp group. Yeah, for sure. I was here at the BI these days helping in a retreat with 20 participants, 20 devotees, and they are discussing about the qualities of a spiritual master, the qualifications of a guru. What's what's the the purpose of being together, discussing all these important topics, and how to make this ancient knowledge relevant for Krishna Consciousness Society and for all the practitioners. And all these days, one thing stays on my mind all the time, that it's how flexible all these devotees are and were in many years of their lives to learn so much because they have so many qualities and performing different devotional service and trying to help always in different departments and in different countries, in different provinces. And I was thinking this because Prabhupada always emphasized that we should not try to be fault finding, right? We should try to be like the bee that goes in every flower searching for the nectar, and every devotee has different qualities. So I was these days here seeing so many different qualities of leaders, of very advanced devotees, and all this process has a really important component that is faith and time, right? So I guess that even when you don't think that you be able to see Paramatma in everyone, the exercise that you are doing of try to means a lot, Kala. Where we stop? Okay, 19. Should continue here. Oops. One should neither rejoice on obtaining that which pleases, nor lament on obtaining the displeasing. With steady reason, unconfused, a Brahman knower stands in Brahman. Detached from external contacts, self finds pleasure in itself. Linked by yoga to Brahman, that self finds imperishing joy. Indeed, those pleasures born of sense contact are merely source of pain, Kaunteya, for they begin and end. A sage does not delight in them. Before giving up the body, one who is able to tolerate in this very life the urge born of lust and anger is a happy person linked in yoga. I think we discussed a lot about this in the beginning of the meeting, right? So here's Krishna talking about this again, right? Instructing Arjuna, beautifully translated by Chardev. With inner joy, inner delight, and real inner light, such a yogi, being Brahman, achieves nirvana in Brahman. Self-restrained sages, their sins spent, gain nirvana in Brahman. Their duality severed, they delight in the good of every being. For those wise souls, freed from desire and anger, who strive with controlled minds, nirvana in Brahman comes their way. Putting outside contacts outside, fixing the eyes right between the brows, equalizing in and out breaths, moving in the nose, internal freedom with senses, mind and reason controlled, with desire, fear, and anger gone. Ever so, sorry, a sage is surely liberated. Knowing me as the enjoyer of sacrifice and austerity, the great Lord of all worlds, and the kind friendly to all, one attains peace. Haribo. Any thoughts about these verses?
Yeah, this is where that adage, happiness does not come from external things. Period. Full stop. That's why they say, it's all about, doesn't matter what's happening outside of you. It's how you react to what's outside of you. And if you can stay equal to it, then you can know that, internally it's just part of the game we're in. We chose to be here, and now we have to deal with it. So we need to stay equal to everything around us. Don't get caught up in the drama or the joy or any of it. But when it's not that we can't have joy, because when you're in the middle of a kirtan and you're really into it, right? And you're actually focused on the holy name. That's what he says, to that internal peace, go inside, Brahma, right? You find that. And that's where connecting with that's where happiness is. It's not from an external thing, it's from internal. Just being equal poise will give you happiness.
I always talk about this with my students. I give online classes of yoga and meditation. And I always say that, okay, the world can be chaotic. There is three wars in course, but even if there was no war, everything perfect, running smoothly,
Mhm.
if you weren't feel peace inside yourself, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. If you're not feeling peace in your mind, in your heart, you find problems all the time with everything, with everyone, no matter what, right?
You are what you seek.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. The cosmic system.
Mhm.
The credit karma. There is no way. There is no
Well,
way to hide it.
everything's based upon our desire and our qualifications, our next birth, this life, right? If we have a desire to know Krishna, or we have a desire, to know material things, one won't make you happy because it's temporary. And then our qualifications, we have to actually do the work. We can't just sit back and think, oh, because I read a book, everything's going to work out. No, there's a reason you read the book. You get the knowledge, do the work, don't be attached to the result.
More than this, being able to learn how to tolerate the stress, it's important, but being able to identify the origin of the problems too, because sometimes people think that, oh, okay, it's my karma or devotional service. Maybe not. Like maybe stay sick because you were in a place with someone sick. Maybe we're maybe you're not addressing the question correctly, right? Maybe it's not devotional service. Maybe you need to do devotional service, but also do therapy to be in peace. Or maybe it's not this. Maybe uh, you don't have a financially sustainable condition to be in peace. So it's not so easy, it's not so simple to define, okay, this person it's peaceful, this one it's not, or one is self-realized because looks like a peaceful person. Maybe not. Maybe internally the minds of this person is crazy, crazy all the time. So this is something important Try to not judge, right? How many times someone reached out to us and said, "Oh, I thought that you were thinking this or that or acting like this because of that situation." So for me, one thing that stays in my mind after read this chapter, it's the importance of understand the origin of our actions or motivations to act or not in the situations, and try to judge, try to analyze the situations with equanimity to do our best. What is take on your minds after this reading and discussion?
I started thinking about really similar conversations that Krishna had with Uddhava in the 11th canto. Towards the end of it, Krishna was basically explaining these same things to Uddhava, different ways of attaining perfection and all this and that. And towards the end, Uddhava kind of said that that all sounds really hard. Like it's just it sounds really difficult to do that. Um, and then so he asked Krishna kind of the same way that Arjuna did, like, can you please make this a lot more simple? I like it's difficult to control the mind, it's difficult to control the body, like it's just it's really hard through my own strength to accomplish this. What do I do? And Krishna says to both of them basically, just worship me. It's really great. You'll have a ball. It's fun. Like there's this verse in the 11th canto. I was just trying to find something else, but Uddhava says, "Therefore, O lotus-eyed Lord of the universe, swan-like men happily take shelter of your lotus feet, the source of all transcendental ecstasy." And it's just devotional service is just so nice. Like we don't have to make any separate endeavor to try and control the mind or to try to do this or that. If we just offer with love and devotion what we can to Krishna, it'll be ecstatic if we can just do this really simple things. Um, because the alternative is just really difficult. Like I can't control my mind. I can't control this or that or the other. But every now and then I can do some service for the devotees or for Krishna, and it's cumulative. So that'll get me somewhere eventually.
I just like how, like you also mentioned, Banu, in the 11th canto, Krishna, like at the end of this chapter, he's like he's he's doing the equivalent of a mic drop nowadays. When we read it, I was just like, boom. That's what he's saying. He's like, knowing me as the enjoyer of sacrifice and austerity, great Lord of all worlds, and a kind friend to all, one attains peace. He's just like, he's got these statements that are just like, boom, mic drops. This is all you need. This is all you need. Just worship me. Devote yourself to me.
And he says it so
Do,
simply too. Like you could be
yeah.
happy this way. Like you could be ecstatic with me. Like it's in your best interest. Just do the thing.
Yeah.
I didn't know if you
And
had
here,
something else to say there.
no, you're true. It's right. You're 100% right. And you know, it's these simple statements, and like here we are trying throughout our life and our lives before, not finding the simplicity in these statements and trying to do our best, and we know better, right? But you know, Krishna
Yeah,
knows best. He's telling us. He's telling us.
I guess we're insufficiently frustrated. There's still some convincing that needs to take place, but Krishna, like with those mic drops, he's just saying, I'm really happy forever, and you could be happy forever with me
Mm.
if you just give up all this other stuff and just do it. Just come be happy. Um, yeah, I guess there's need to boil the milk a little more.
Queen Kunti's mentality, right? calm the sufferings, because I need to realize this.
Yeah, I remember I stayed at Krishna House in Gainesville for a little while, and Kalakanta Prabhu would frequently give classes. And every year, these chapters with Queen Kunti would come up in Bhagavatam classes, and he would always say something like, "You don't have to even pray for the misfortune. It'll come. Like it'll be there." So just hold on.
Honor, did you ever stay in Toronto?
No, no,
Okay,
I just in Gainesville mostly.
okay, I'm thinking of someone else then. Same, yeah.
You turned your
I
camera
had,
on.
I had to ask because your face is a cow, not a human.
Yeah, I don't want to distract everybody from these transcendental conversations with my mug.
Feel comfortable. Cameras on or off, no problem at all, Prabhu. It's great to have you here. If I don't know if someone has any other comment to add or doubt, complaint, suggestions, because we are a little bit out of time.
Well, I wish we had unlimited time.
Me too, Prabhu. But you know what? We are eternal. We have many lives, so everything Krishna's time. Yes, Krishnananda Prabhu, please. Your mic is closed.
I need to leave, so I'm saying goodbye.
Thank you so
Hare
much.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Haribo. Nice meeting you.
Nice to meet you all, dear devotees. So we continue next week. I'm a little bit late in my seva with Krishna West Vancouver for really good reasons too, but I will try to create and share the calendar soon and create more context to Instagram soon. So if everyone is able to help, please reach out. I'm currently running Krishna West Vancouver alone, sporadically. There is some devotee that helps with something. So it'd be really nice to have help in the seva.
Well, there's not much I could do in Vancouver, but if there's ever any interest for conversations on Shastra via WhatsApp or some other medium, I'd happily take part in that, throughout the week if there was just some little forum such as.
Mm,
Great, great. Yes, Prabhu. Let's discuss this. Will be really nice.
Prem, I can take up doing the graphic design again.
Oh, will be really nice. Will be really nice.
Mhm.
Check it out with your calendar if you can really do it, and then let me know. Will be really
Yeah,
nice.
and I want to talk to you about something else about on that line too with Krishna West. So, yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So
Well,
thank you
I'll jump
all.
out of here if y'all want to stick around and talk.
I can let this one on for you all if you want to. But let me just wait, let me pause stop the